Is there life after death?
Place like a vortex, and then they see a light at the end of the tunnel, and then as they keep floating.
Or is it just dreams and hallucinations?
Or electric activity in the brain, which means the EEG machine goes flat. This means the person should not be able to have any consciousness. They shouldn't be able to have hallucinations or dreams when this happens. But during that time, the person is able to have very vivid experiences of maybe traveling through a tunnel and going.
Join us as we explore the mysterious spirit world of near-death experience. Jeffrey Long is an American author and researcher into the phenomenon of near-death experiences. As a physician by training, Long practices radiation oncology at a hospital in Louisiana. Long is the author of Evidence of the Afterlife, The Science of Near-Death Experiences, which appeared on the New York Times bestseller list. In 1998, he founded the Near-Death Experience Research Foundation, which is concerned with documenting and researching NDEs. When someone has cardiac arrest, blood stops pumping to the brain. When this happens, the person has no more electrical activity in the brain. The EEG, which measures electrical activity in the brain, then goes flat. When there is no more electrical activity in the brain, the person should not have any conscious awareness. Because there is no more conscious awareness, the person should not be able to dream or hallucinate. When this happens, and the person is revived, they can recall memories of being outside of their own bodies. Typical reports from people would claim they saw their own resuscitation attempts by doctors. Other reports would be leaving their body and floating into another room, then they would witness other people's conversations. The most common example after leaving their body is they experience going through a tunnel, and usually they will see a light at the end of the tunnel. Next, when they enter the light, they are sometimes greeted by dead relatives in an unknown beautiful land. Even scientists and atheists can have a near-death experience. Belief system backgrounds do not make a difference.
Even an atheist can have it, and a lot of atheists have had near-death experiences of coming out of their own bodies when their heart stops or whatever happens to them. And if someone was born blind, they would be able to see for the first time when they've come out of their own bodies, when they've maybe died, and then when they come back to life again through resuscitation, they usually recall of being able to see for the first time. And also sometimes in these near-death experiences that the person can see at 360 degrees as well. That's another pattern that he finds.
Could it be just false memories of life after death? Is it possible when a person is revived, are only recalling false memories of life after death?
Explanations of maybe it's false memories. So we'll go to that. We'll look at the idea that maybe these people, when they've been resuscitated, are somehow having false memories. Well, according to this, false memories can only take place through repetitive suggestions, right? When these people have been resuscitated, there would need to be someone standing beside them using repetitive suggestions continually in order for them to try and convince them that they've had a near-death experience of going through a tunnel. You would have to ask yourself, who worldwide is going around using repetitive suggestions on thousands and thousands of people that have just been resuscitated? It doesn't make sense, does it? But that's the only way you can actually have false memories.
Also, false memories only fill in small gaps of a memory. False memories do not involve huge fantastic stories. Only through repetitive suggestions could cause a false memory. Why would anyone spend their time trying to convince people around the world they have had a near-death experience? Let's look to see if a near-death experience can be caused by drugs and hallucinations.
The NDEs are not hallucinations. They can't be, because even when they had test subjects, The test subjects were given drugs and other medications, and none of them had anything like an NDE experience, like a near-death experience. Even one child was helped to hallucinate something, okay, well, when given drugs, and still they never experienced anything like an NDE, like a near-death experience. So even when giving them drugs, they can't experience going through a tunnel and seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, or experience coming out of their own bodies. The found was that usually when someone's having hallucinations, they're not able to hold a logical conversation with you, because they're usually very dazed and very kind of like lost in their hallucinations, that they're not really aware of their surroundings properly when someone hallucinates. But
Jeffrey Long found that when someone is dying and speaking to an invisible being, they are still aware of their surroundings. When this happens, they can still have a logical conversation with him, and then return to speaking with invisible beings. Could people be making up stories to get attention? Jeffrey Long found that people had a lot to lose for making up such hard-to-believe stories. They are at risk of ridicule from the public.
You know, he found that people don't have anything to gain from making up stories either. He says they actually have a lot to lose for making these up. You know, a lot of people would keep it to themselves and maybe talk about it later.